Alright class, so today I'm going to be showing you how to do intravenous flow rates. The first thing I want to show you is how to do the IV flow rate formula. Now the first thing I want you to focus on the top bar, is the volume in millimeters, which will be multiplied by the drop factor, which is usually in GTTS per mils, and GTTS stands for drops, so keep that in mind. On the bottom of the bar, it will be the time, and it will always be in minutes, so make sure to convert anything that's not in minutes to minutes. Once you do that calculation, you should get the IV flow rate, which will be GTTS drops per minute. So now using this formula, we're going to do example 1. Now in this example, I'm going to show you how to identify the parts of the equation you should focus on. So here's the first example. Calculate the IV flow rate for 200 milliliters of 0.9% normal saline IV over 120 minutes. An infusion set has a drop factor of 20 GTS or drops per millimeter. Now the things I want you to focus on in this equation is 200 millimeters, which will be our volume. Then we will focus on 120 minutes, which will be the time. And then the last thing we'll focus on is the 20 GTS or drops per millimeter. Now notice that you see I didn't highlight the 0.9% NaCl. That's just the fluid that will be in the IV bag. That just stands for normal saline, so don't worry about that. So with this information in mind, I'm going to show you how to set up the formula with those numbers. So on the top you see I put 200 millimeters, which was our volume. Then we have 20 GTS or drops per mil, which is our drop factor. And then on the bottom will be 120 minutes. So now once you do that calculation, you will get 33.333 repeating. So what I want you to do is just round to the nearest whole number. So rounded up, you will then get 33, and make sure to put the units which will be in GTTS or drops per minute, and that is your IV flow rate. So now I'm going to show you another example and also how to identify the parts of the equation. So for this equation it says calculate the IV flow rate for 1,200 milliliters of normal saline to be infused in 6 hours. The infusion set is calibrated for a drop factor of 15 drops per milliliter. Now notice in this equation we do not have the time in minutes, so I'm going to show you how to convert that. So what you're going to focus on is the 1,200 millimeters of normal saline, which is our volume. Then we will focus on the 6 hours, which is our time. And lastly, we will focus on the drop factor, which is 15 GTTS drops per mil. So I don't want you to freak out if you see hours, just know you can convert it to minutes, the time to minutes. So this is a reminder of what the equation looks like. If you want to pause it here, you can pause it, write down the equation again. And now here's our formula. Now remember, the volume was 1,200 millimeters, and then we're going to multiply that by the 15, which was our drop rate factor. And remember that the time was in hours, so we had to convert that to minutes. So I'm going to show you that step next. So in order to convert it to minutes, you would get the 6 hours times 60 minutes, because there's 60 minutes in 1 hour, so we're going to multiply that and we will get 360 minutes, which we will put below the bar. So now, if you calculate that, you should get 50 in your calculator. And notice that you do not have to round for this because it came out even, so that's it. That's your answer. So based on these two examples, I want you to go back and review and make sure you got the formula down right so you can practice. Now you're ready to practice. That's it.
Created using PowToons.